Okay, today we're going to talk about the annotated diverse text set assignment, a review for people that were in class, and some information for those of you who are absent the day we went over it. So if you go to the assignment section on Blackboard, it's this assignment here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the description of the assignment, which I have here. So the purpose of this assignment is to give you a chance to find multiple texts and diverse texts that all relate to the same theme. It's kind of one of those things we always talk about we'd like to do one day and never get around to. So hopefully this will be something that is useful for you and fun to do. I think it's one of the most significant assignments for this course, as a matter of fact, and that's what the feedback I get from former students. So there are three pieces: picking a unit or a theme, collecting and analyzing different kinds of texts in relationship to that unit, and evaluating a textbook that you could use in your content area. So starting with the theme or topic, first thing you'll do is write an introduction explaining what is the theme or topic and how do these different texts organize around that topic. Also tell me what grade and age level these texts are selected for, and why you selected this theme for this particular age level. And you can also refer to your content standards or Common Core standards as appropriate. So the next part, and obviously the most significant part, is picking a range of 8 different texts. And by text, we mean something that a student has to make sense of. 4 of these texts can be traditional level texts, like textbook, things written on a page that kids read, but some of them could be video, could be posters or propaganda posters. Kind of be creative with this. If you're not sure, of course, you can ask me if a particular kind of text is appropriate. But if it's something that people in your field actually use, then it would be appropriate for this assignment. Remember, you need a total of 8, and only 4 of them can be traditional print-based. They should also be at a slight range of difficulty levels. So the next step is looking at text complexity. And we've talked about this already for your tackling the text assignment, but if you remember, posted also on Blackboard in this particular assignment are some of the measures we use to determine text complexity. For example, here's one qualitative measure of literary texts. There's also a qualitative measure of informational text where you're looking at different levels of the text, in this case, layers of meaning, structure, language conventionality, knowledge demands, and ranking it high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, and low. You can also look at a quantitative measure like Lexile levels, or we also looked at the Fry formula for analyzing text if you can't find the Lexile level for your book. So you need a quantitative and qualitative. Now, obviously, if it's a text that does not have a lot of print, you won't be able to get the quantitative. You may just focus on the qualitative. Okay, you're going to create a bibliography and annotation for each of the texts you're going to use using APA format. To provide a brief summary of the text, how you would use it in the class and why you chose it, and the level of complexity. And this annotation should be a paragraph or 2 in length for each. So here's an example. If we're looking at Phineas Gage, here's a description of the book itself, and then here's a description of the complexity level based on the Lexile level, the quantitative analysis, and the qualitative analysis. So after you do the introduction and all 8 texts, the last thing you're going to do is evaluate a textbook that would be used in your content. And there is this form available to use. It doesn't look as good on my screen. It actually prints out darker, where you're going to go through the textbook and check off each one of these, rate them: 5 excellent, 4 good, 3 adequate, 2 poor, or 1 unacceptable, or not applicable if that issue isn't in your particular text. Then you're going to provide a narrative description, 2 to 3 paragraphs or so, summarizing your results about that textbook that you use or would use. So in summary, here's what you're going to submit: an introduction rationale for the theme or topic, annotated bibliography with each of the 8 texts, the textbook analysis checklist, and a written summary with the findings of the textbook analysis. And if you go back to our assignment page, I actually have an example of an assignment related to PE. The only thing missing from this is that textbook analysis checklist, but she did do the introduction and a description of her 8 different kinds of texts and the descriptive part of the textbook analysis. We just don't have the actual document. So that should give you a little bit of guidance. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask.